You said 12 hours. You should fast at least 12 hours. I am curious your views on intermittent fasting because it was there's so much conversation around 18 hours off, 6 hours on, 20 hours off, 4 hours on, and I was reading that the studies actually don't show that makes a difference, and what really matters is your total caloric intake.
Yeah, sure.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it does give you a little bit of time more for autophagy, and I think having at least 12 hours is minimum, and that's not really a fast. It's just normal. Right? It's like you shouldn't eat before bed, and you can eat when you wake up. It's basically in America we just keep eating until we have dinner, and then we have after dinner snacks, and then we have a snack before bed.
We have a second dinner.
That's just terrible for you. It's really bad. It'll make you gain weight. Basically, I call it the sumo wrestler diet. Is what I wrote about in one of my first books called Ultra Metabolism. How do the sumo wrestlers gain so much weight? They're normal little Japanese guys. Well, they basically feed them an enormous calorie-dense food, and then they make them go take a nap. And then they wake them up, and they do exercise, and they have another huge meal, and then they take another nap. So basically, then they go to sleep. So it's basically you eat on a full stomach is the way to gain weight. But I think intermittent fasting can be challenging because if you do it, you can lose muscle, and then you end up in kind of a counterproductive state. So I think it's really individual. If you're very overweight and you want to use it as a strategy to drop a bunch of weight, I think it's great. I think if you're, for someone like, you and I who are mostly metabolically optimized, I think extended fasting probably is not a great idea.
Because the reason I stopped as well is because I'm trying to, you can't load all of your protein at one sitting. Your body's not going to absorb it. And so I like to spread, my 150 grams, including a breakfast because I work out first thing in the morning. So it helps me make sure I get protein, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm curious, total calories. What's your view on caloric intake?
I think it's really important. I think, we excess calories are not good. And
how much do you suggest a person eat? How much do you eat?
It depends, right? So it depends on your metabolic engine, right? If you're someone who's been on Ozempic and you've lost all this muscle and you're, 180 pounds like me, you're probably going to need far less calories than I do because, my VO2 max is high. I have high muscle mass. I have very low body fat. So I need a lot of calories. I need like almost 3,000 calories a day. But if you are someone who's not as active, if you're someone who's not metabolically tuned up, then you may need less calories. So it really depends on your body type. And you can do measurements of your basal metabolic rate with various kinds of devices. Now you can do it in a lab where they measure oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. We used to do that when I worked at Canyon Ranch. And you can see, it's usually basically, the way to figure it out is 10 times your body weight in calories. So if you're 180 pounds like me, my basal metabolic rate is 1,800 calories. And then for your activities of daily living, you usually add on another 30%, right? So 30% on top of that would be like 2,400 calories. So that's basically my basic needs. Now, if I'm like going for a 5-hour bike ride, right? Or I'm climbing up the Everest Base Camp where I went, like I did this summer and was hiking, 10 miles at 14,000 feet straight up, I might need more. So it depends on what you're doing, but that's basically kind of how you figure it out. And by the way, calories as a way of thinking about looking at your food just is kind of a hopeless endeavor. If you take the top nutritional scientists who study calories and you tell them, okay, I want you to determine the calorie count of the food you ate without actually like measuring it and weighing it and everything, they won't be able to do it. And if you're off by 100 calories a day, like just 100 calories a day, which is not very much, it's like a bite of food, you're going to gain like 20 pounds in a year, right? So, what you have to understand is it's really about regulating your metabolic system so that your brain chemistry, your hormones, and your metabolism are all working in synergy so that you're going to self-regulate and do it in a way that your body is smart and knows what to do. Because if you try to count calories, it's kind of forget it.